Liberia. However, the lead was blown open through partnership and real-time intelligence sharing mechanisms between NDLEA and its Liberian counterpart. Also, attempt by an intending passenger to Muscat, Oman on Qatar Airways Ngene Chinecherem Oscar to export 11.100 kilograms of skunk and 600 grams of tramadol concealed in foodstuffs through the Lagos airport was thwarted by NDLEA officers who arrested him and seized the illicit substances. In another operation, NDLEA officers of the Directorate of Operations and General Investigations (DOGI) attached to courier companies on Saturday, 15 October, intercepted 1 kilogram methamphetamine concealed in containers of body cream going to New Zealand, as well as another consignment of 2.5 kilograms cocaine and phenacetin hidden in walls of a carton heading to Saudi Arabia. 2 more seizures, 112 grams of dimethyl sulfone and 583 grams of cocaine and phenacetin were made at another courier company in Lagos on Wednesday, 18 October. While the dimethyl sulfone was concealed in the hollow of a motor driving shaft going to New Zealand, the consignment of cocaine and phenacetin was packed into a bottle of body cream heading to Saudi Arabia. In Imo State, operatives on Sunday, 15 October, intercepted a Mercedes-Benz container truck marked ABN 41 Expressway. A search of the abandoned truck led to the recovery of 168 bags of skunk weighing 1,854 kilograms. Not less than 1,381.3 kilograms of the same substance were seized in 4 interdiction operations in parts of Edo State, including Ekpon Community, Igweben Local Government Area, Igweye Forest in Ovia Northeast Local Owunde Local Government Area, where the duo of Obune Prince and Chika Obi was arrested, and their Audi 80 salon car marked BEN 406CL loaded with cannabis sativa recovered. In Kano State, an ex-convict, Aminu Suleiman, 46, was arrested along with Haruna Abdurrahman, 41, and Ojo Joseph Esezobo, 34, at Gadar Tamburawa area of the state on Saturday, 14 October, while 106 kilograms of cannabis were recovered from them. Aminu was first arrested with 22 kilograms of cannabis on 3 June 2022 and convicted by the court on 24 November 2022. 4 other suspects, Inusa Fugu Ali, Yahaya Musa, Abba Audu, for dealing in 75.3 kilograms of skunk. While operatives of the Jones Market along Ifon Owo Express Road and Ebola Camp, Ipele Forest. In Borno State, a suspect, Sani Mohammed, 31, was arrested on Saturday, 21st October, with 182 kilograms of cannabis at Njimitolo along Maiduguri Damaturu Road. Commending the arrests and seizures of the past week by officers and men of the NAIA, MMIA, Imo, Ondo, Kano, Edo, Zone J commands, as well as those of the DOGI, the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwari, retired, charged them and their compatriots across all formations of the agency to continue to remain vigilant and double their efforts, especially with the desperation of criminal networks to make money by all means towards the end of the year season. That's it on arrests and seizures. Now, here are the weather activities across the country for the week. Schools and other education stakeholders are increasingly becoming the focal targets of the NDLEA War Against Drug Abuse, WADA advocacy and sensitization engagements. The objective is to equip youth, children, and adults alike with life skills required to live a drug-free life. On Monday, 16 October 2023, the Benue State Command delivered the WADA sensitization lecture at Government Model School, Makurdi. The Osun State Command also organized a lecture for students of 12 secondary schools in Iwo Town, while the Niger State Command sensitized students and teachers at Al-Assas Health Foundation School of Health Technology, Mina, on Tuesday, 17 October. On Wednesday, 18 October, the Abia State Command of NDLEA facilitated a WADA sensitization lecture at Obo Hill Secondary School, Aba. while the Gombe State Command conducted a similar activity at Nana Aisha Memorial Islamia Secondary School, Buba Shongo, and same with Oyo State Command, which conducted theirs at Awe High School, Awe. Still on Wednesday, the Zone C Command, in collaboration with the Kwara State Command, hosted a town hall meeting with principals of secondary schools from 5 local government areas in the state. The Directorate of Seaports Operations also on the same day led a water campaign to schools around jetties, starting with students of Kuramo Junior College, Lekki, Lagos, while the Kano State Command lectured students at the Government Technical Secondary School, Makoda. Continuing the water advocacy campaign for the week at the Akwa Ibom State Command at Smiles and Surprises Academy Honor, the Semi-Special Area Command at Chije Group of Schools, Badagry, Lagos, the Ondo State Command at Wilson International College, Yaba, Ondo West Local Government Area, and the Anambra State Command at St. John's Girls Secondary School, Oka, all on Thursday, 19th October 2023. The Ogun State Command also on Thursday collaborated with the NYSC Water Club to raise awareness among the students of Sango High School, Ijoko, on the dangers of drug use. 20th October, the Adamawa State Command sensitized over 1,500 students of Government Day Secondary School, Watu, Michika, on the effects of drug abuse on academic performance. Concluding the water activities for the week was the Jigawa State Command, which conducted a session at the Government Science Secondary School, Ringim, on Saturday, 21st October. By engaging with a diversified range of stakeholders, the NDLEA is assisting communities in establishing the frameworks required for a drug-free society. That's the update for this week. My name is Blessing, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi Baba Femi.
Very well, thank you, Blessing, and welcome back from the news highlight segments. Now let's remind ourselves about some of the rules guiding our process of engagement on this program today. Please note that when we approve you to be on the speaker's corner, you remain muted until after our guest presentation, and we start inviting individuals to unmute themselves to ask questions and make contributions in few seconds. We do not encourage unauthorized interruption. We don't also discuss politics here, so let's all remain guided so that we can all enjoy and benefit from the conversation. We are here to share information. We are here to share knowledge. We're here to help humanity, so let's remain focused. Thanks for your usual cooperation. Now, today's program, as usual, will be as interactive as much as possible. We want to respond to your questions and take your contributions on today's subject of discussion. So please, let's remain calm and let's enjoy the conversation on today's subject of discussion. This is all part of our commitment to engage with all stakeholders in all that we do. But before I take the next item, let's quickly acknowledge some of those already on the platform. We cannot acknowledge everybody because but then we'll start to take those we can identify quickly. And one of those, the first early comers on the space today, that's City Boy at City Omogbola. Thank you, City Omogbola, for being part of the conversation today. We also have Sir Fresh at Dr. Fash MD. Thank you for being part of our conversation today. Also, Dr. Abdullahi. Dr. Abdullahi is of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zika, Zaria. Thank you, Dr. Abdullahi, for always being part of this conversation. We also have our regular John Ogunjimi. Thanks for John Ogunjimi for being part of today's conversation. We have Don Baba Mosadi. Don Baba Mosadi, thank you for being part of today's conversation also. We have AGN, that's Abdul Ganiyu, AGN for real. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. Noso Oyenjemesi, thank you, Noso, for being part of this conversation today. We also have Atobale Ishola. Forgive me, Ishola, if I didn't get that first name right. Then we have Akanfe Oloju Come and Do. Akanfe Oloju Come and Do. That's a wonderful name. Thank you, Akanfe Oloju Come and Do, for being part of the conversation today. We also have Ibukun Siwoku. Ibukun Siwoku, that's at Koimayawa. I think Koimayawa is a medical doctor. If I didn't get that Siwoku right, please pardon me. We have Kunle Joseph. We have our own zonal commander there, that's Para Bawa. We also have Tijani Musa Alhaji, Adamu Musa. We also have a regular Kem at Kem Patriot. Thank you all for being part of the conversation today. We would be acknowledging more people in our subsequent interventions. But then let's quickly, before we formally introduce our guest today, who is well seated already, let's quickly remind us about the NDLA's call center. That is an initiative by the leadership of the agency to bridge the gap between those who are struggling with substance abuse and the needed help. The call center is located in the nation's capital territory, but then it's accessible. You can call, you can seek help from any part of the country. All you need to do is to dial the toll-free helpline provided. That is 0800 10203040. I repeat, 08001020340. That's the toll-free helpline to call in case you have friends, you have family members, or you are even the one struggling with substance abuse. You can call this line, and we have on the other end mental health experts, our counselors, psychologists, clinical psychologists, and even our psychiatric doctors. They are all there who work 24/7 to pick your call, assess your situation, and provide you the needed help. Please feel free to call this line, that is 0800 10203040. And apart from the fact that you can speak to them or talk to them in English or Pidgin, on specific days of the week, you can also speak to them in the three major languages, that is Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. They are there to attend to you. That's all about that. The help, the call center, the NDLA call center. Now it's time for me to formally introduce our guest speaker today, and that is Dr. Fumilade Oyebade. Today we will definitely be discussing another very important topic, and that is Gen Z, drug abuse, and mental health. It's actually almost three topics packed in one. But then when we discuss all of these things, people still ask, are they real? Is it real? Is it possible? All of this, and that's why we put a column and then we ask fact or facade. So today we want to know from our guests whether indeed this is a reality or a mere facade or just something that's part of social media creation, or what's part of those things trending, or that people just generate to trend. He will be speaking to us shortly. I would like to say about him that indeed Fumilade Oyebade is a medical doctor and public and mental health expert. He's on a mission to raise awareness about mental health issues, reduce stigma, and promote mental wellness. Dr. Yebade is a public health expert, is HIV/AIDS specialist, and fitness enthusiast. He has worked with national and international organizations in this regard. He has a medical degree from VN Karazin Medical University in Ukraine. He equally holds a diploma in global mental health from the University of Washington, USA, among others. It's my privilege, it's my honor to invite Dr. Ibade to unmute himself at this point and make his presentation. Thereafter, we would be opening up the space for those that want to interrogate his presentation, those that want to ask questions, and those that want to contribute to some of the points he has raised. Please, Dr. Oyebade, go ahead and mute yourself and let's listen to you for the next 30, 40 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hearing from me. It's a pleasure to be here at this time, at this moment. My name remains as Oyebade Fumilade, and I would say kudos to NDLA for at least giving us this platform for us to be able to talk about some things that is really kind of affecting the society at large. Thanks once again, NDLA. I really appreciate this platform that you have given me today. Okay, so let's just go straight to it. Gen Z, drug abuse and mental health, fact or facade? In my honest opinion, I would say that it does exist. And I will try to just push it from my perspective to just talk about a little bit about the Gen Z. Then it will give us a broad spectrum on how we are going to navigate through this topic. So I will just start by saying that there's a age column to the Gen Z, which is basically 1997 to 2012. And I was kind of just surprised that even in recent times we now have Gen Alpha. So the more the generation is going, the more there's an exposure to a part of humanity that most people have not really um, explored yet. So the Z in the Gen Z is the Zoomer. So you understand that most times once you see a Gen Z, they want to be they want to be they just want to just express themselves. They want to do a whole lot of things. They are full of energy. They 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 are tech savvy. They just want to be heard. So looking at it, I would like to just talk about mental health and link it to reasons why mental health can tilt the generation, especially the Gen Z. It can tilt them to have to involve in drug abuse. So looking at it, there are thoughts and belief around the Gen Z, but it will shock us to know that the Gen Z currently in Nigeria is about 25% of our population, which means that we really need to address the Gen Z. So also I would like to just talk about um, the triggers that is associated um, to the Gen Z feeling like, okay, I'm kind of just feeling like I'm having a mental breakdown, I'm having a mental stress, probably from work, probably from school. This is because of different triggers. And one of the triggers is traumatic experience. Like example, you kind of just grew up in a house that probably your mom beats your dad beats your mom, or vice versa, or probably the child was molested while growing up. It could affect the mental health of that person, which would tilt the person to seek for more, to seek for a void. Because once you have a void, you'll be looking for what to just fill it up. The second one is biological cause. So the biological cause can be a strange genetic association to that family. There's some family that you will notice that their genetic makeup has the mental health issues, and immediately such a person is kind of exposed to all those stressors, to all those things that would trigger the person. You will know that, okay, this person will not be able to cope with the mental stress. Also, we have academic pressure. Bringing it back to Nigeria, we'll try to just say that most times our parents want us to have straight A's, or probably just be the best in your class. So you just coming back home and you come back with a E or with a F, and most things that is being said to you at that particular point in time is that you're not good enough, or probably why you just dumb and stuff like that. Indirectly, our parents says it all in love, but technically it's just kind of just affecting. Actually, it's affecting the Gen Z more because most times they want to be heard. They seek validation, and once your validation is more negative than positive, then it will tilt them to a mental health illness, which I would describe in my presentation. Also, we have societal expectation. Most times you just want to seek validation. Most times you see there are a lot of social medias, especially Twitter, which has given us a great space for us to be able to express ourselves. We also have TikTok, we have Instagram, that most people you just have to go and borrow some stuff just to just be heard or to be seen. So most times this has been as triggers to people to affect their mental health. So I would also say it as this, that there are common phrases that is being said by Gen Z, and if you're not careful, if you're not on the lookout with all those phrases, it might be an indication that this person is going through something. So example, there are common phrases like I am tired, and that word is coming repeatedly, like day in day out. You're just saying that I'm tired, I'm tired. You might not know that at that particular point in time you're already going through anxiety, or probably you're just depressed. But we just kind of just trivialize it and be like, okay, it's just one of those things. So I want to be, I don't want to fail, or I'm gonna fail, or sometimes just that, don't worry, I will just fail it. Actually, it's so peculiar to students. They'll just say that, okay, don't worry, I will fail it. They don't really see that, okay, they can achieve anything, looking down on themselves, low self-esteem. Sometimes they will just say that I don't even care at this point, and we can see that all these phrases, if you attach it with people that already have suicidal attempts, you would notice that one of these symptoms or one of these phrases has already come into play. Even the mobile issue that I don't want to just talk about, but if you listen to some of these lyrics, you will surely see some of these phrases that he was calling for help, but because we could not see. So I would also talk about different type of things that we should be on the lookout for. There are a lot of disorders that we should be on the lookout for. That is something that is going to just kind of just pinch us that, okay, this person might be going through all these. So looking at the cascade from the beginning to the end, we will see that anxiety is one of the mental illness peculiar to Gen Zs. Anxiety have about 78% as compared to others. Looking at it, substance abuse is also on the high side, but we should be on the lookout for all these disorders, because if the disorders or these symptoms can be addressed, is going to help us to reduce people that are involved in substance abuse, because most times these mental illness go through months, years, and before you know, you would want to fill that void that you're having at that particular point in time. So I would just go by saying that anxiety is about a whole lot. Most times you see people hyperventilating, their heart is raising, most time they feel insecure, they have fear about failing, they have fear, they have phobia for a whole lot of things. At that particular point in time, we might trivialize it in Africa and we just say that what is wrong with you, or probably just use probably a cane to just kind of just spank the person, that the person should just take time, not knowing that the person is going through some mental illness that should be addressed at that particular point in time. Also, the next that is peculiar with mental issues for Gen Z is depression. Depression takes about 72%. And looking at the Gen Z, because they want to be heard, they want to talk about it, they really want to express themselves. We could know that the Lekki massacre, they were out there, all of them were just out there. They wanted to just express themselves. They want to just say their rights and their wrongs. They just want to just put it out there. So depression also is also that, and most times depression is what you can't really see. Depression is not well diagnosed. It's not well diagnosed in this current place. I would like to pause and just say that we have about 350 psychiatry in Nigeria as of 2020, and I believe that it might have reduced to a population of millions. So, which means that we all should be part of the advocates to talk about it, to ensure that we have listening ears. Everybody should be heard. So at this particular point in time, I'll also talk about one which I noticed that is common. They are not really part. They are also part of the Jay-Z's, but most times we don't really look at them. There's a syndrome called, or there's a disorder called attention deficit activity disorder. So to break it down, that means that this person has been evaluated, has been diagnosed. You will just notice that this person most times is just always hyperactive. All the time is always hyperactive. Most time common with our children. Most time this person just want to just play. This person just, and it's going to affect concentration in their school. Sometimes you will just go to your children's school, probably in secondary school, and say that this person is always hyperactive, and he's not always listening, he's always there, he's always that, we might trivialize it and just say that okay, this boy just needs to be spanked, which sometimes is necessary. But most times we should also look at it in the other way of just seeking help from a professional, probably a psychiatric, a good qualified counselor that can talk to the child. Talking to that child would also prevent that child for any prevalence of any assault or use of substance abuse of this child in the nearest future. Um, I'll just talk about the last one, which is addiction and substance abuse. We all know that addiction is a combination of habits. And once you notice that, okay, this is something that fills the void for me. Example is the use of caffeine, or probably the use of cough syrup, because we know these are substance abuse that is commonly used by the Gen Zs. You notice that this boy, while growing up, is always this diligent person, but is always looking for every forum to be heard. And taking of those drugs, he feels that okay, this is what is going to get me to that level. Most times you notice that the guy start to take it, it becomes an habit. It start to give him this feeling that that is already there. This will tilt him to have addiction, and before you can go away from the addiction, before you know, you start using different substances such as heroin, you start using cannabis, sativa, you start using different type of substance just to fill that void that you're having at that particular point in time. Also, I will also talk about some other things that is attributed to Gen Zs. Gen Zs are very, very special because I've already had different interaction with them, and most times you will notice that the way the society work is that most time we dismiss anything that you're saying. Like sometimes they might be telling you a whole lot of things. Like in your place of work, there can be Gen Zs there, and you know this person is so hardworking, and before you know, this person is just so quiet. Before you know this person, you know that this person is not even just active again. It's good for you to have a mental evaluation for that person in that office, for you to have the person to work optimally. Also, you also notice that Gen Zs are more of social media. There's a reduction in the interpersonal relationship outside there. So that's why we kind of just look at them that they can't cope, or probably they are too fragile and everything. But it's not like they are too fragile, because we can't compare the time of the millennial where there was no social media. There was more of an interpersonal relationship with family, with friends, with everybody. But you will notice that in this era, sometimes you might even be in a dining table, you might be in a forum, and you know that everybody are on their phone. So most times this tilt this person most times to seek validation everywhere. And you seeking validation, or probably want to be influenced by peer-to-peer pressure, or probably academic pressure or societal pressure, you tend to want to use something to get to that level that you're looking out for. So also, I will also state something about the social media facade that a whole lot of Gen Zs also used to portray. You'll notice that even I will just talk about one, like the normal TikTok. You see a lot of people borrow a lot of stuff just to feel among, and you just see different things happening everywhere just to just feel among. So a whole lot of people do a whole lot of things just to just feel among, and probably it still this person to just do extra mile, or probably do what it's supposed not to do. Also, I also talk about delusion. Delusion. We also have hallucination. We have people that have paranoid delusion. That example was what happened, I think, last week. There was a lady that came that was saying that she had it from her spirit that she should fast, she should not eat, that she should bring out knife and start, that it was worse, that she came out using knife to start to scrape her body, to just start to puncture herself. Looking at that person, in our society that we are, we might just start to just record this person without looking for help. So I am here to just make sure that anytime that we see some symptoms, some things, that some phrases that people are using, this is an avenue for us to intervene. You might not be able to do anything, but be that person that would voice out, or be that person that would call for help for that person. for the person to move from that mental health illness to be stable. Because if that is being addressed, that will reduce people from wanting to engage in substance abuse to get to that, to for security, or probably to just get to that place that they want to just get. Also, I will also talk about some symptoms peculiar to people for you to know that okay, this person might be going through mental illness. I will give like few examples. Like we have one, like this person, you know, this person is a big eater. Before you know, this person don't eat. This person started having symptoms looking at picker, like he just wants to just eat anything that is not nutritional. He just wants to just be picking things from there. And most times it's experienced during outbreaks. Sometimes it's even experienced during when you lose your job. You might not be eating. You might just be there, and the next thing that you come to mind is that you want to let the sorrow to go away. That would make you to tilt into probably making use of alcohol consumption, probably using injectables, both injectables and not injectable drugs. Start using heroin, start taking cocaine, start even using cough syrup, which is because it contains codeine. It can make you to have that hallucinating effect that you feel like you're on top of the world. um Also, you might see some people because they have a certain model, because of the societal uh, um, um, awareness. A whole lot of people want to just have a model that okay, I want to be like this person. I just want to just be like this person. Because of that, they stop eating. They started having anorexia nervosa. A whole lot of people even start having bulimia, like you eat a whole lot during an outbreak or anything. This should not be trivialized. This should not just be addressed that okay, you will get through it, you will walk past it. These are times that you need to reach out either to a trusted friend, or probably you reach out to a professional, because it is not every case that needs just only just talking therapy. There are therapy that you require medications for this person to be on, or probably therapy for months, for years, or probably you have to rejig your your orientation about life. Probably you engage in lot of hobbies like exercise. You change your routine. Those are the things that will make you to have a coping mechanism for all the stressors. There are a lot of stressors that I've mentioned. So I will just add this to it. There are a lot of ways to manage this mental health. Especially, I'll just pick one out of the mental health that I feel that it is one of the things that is affecting Gen Zs, which is anxiety. So managing anxiety, we have a whole lot of things that the person can do. The first one, which is very important, is self-care. You know that a whole lot of people, once they are going through anxiety, they stop taking their bed, they stop taking care of themselves. From there, that should serve as a signal for us to know that okay, this person need help, and we should reach out to either trained counselors, or probably reach out to any psychiatrist that can probably help you out. So self-care is very, very important. Adequate sleep, because you know that a whole lot of Gen Zs, not just only Gen Zs, a whole lot of generation, but it's just like the Gen Zs are are more kind of just exposed to all of these. Most times you notice that you might not even want to sleep because you're on social media. You just want to just keep the euphoria that you're online, things that people liking your pictures. Those are the things that are still making you to be awake. Before you know, you start looking for another validation, which might tilt you to substance abuse also. Also, exercise is very, very important. Very, very important. Exercise. It relaxes the mind. It kind of just give you a better understanding of yourself. Also, there's something we call digital detox. Digital detox is about you just kind of just reducing the screen time. You kind of just put a limit to your phone. I think a lot of people are using Android, or probably using Apple, or any type of phone. You can actually reduce the the time spent on your social media, because that would also make you to have a stable mental health. To be honest, sometimes you will look at some people, all because they don't have something on their, like they don't have data on their phone. You start seeing them hyperventilating, you start seeing them fidgeting, you start seeing them not in a good mood, depressed, and the rest like that. all because they want to get to a space to avert their voidness at that particular point in time. Also, the last one that I think is very very important, and thank you for the platform NDLA. I think a whole lot of people should be able to advocate, probably to just reach out once you see all the symptoms, once you see any triggers that this person is continually that is exposed to. It's good for you to be a kind of advocate, that you will try to reach out to people to seek for help for the person. And if you are the one that is going through a whole lot of hard times that will make you not to cope with things, or currently you are on substance abuse, there's a good news for you, that you can be free from it. And from last week, we had the great speaker that took us and told us a whole lot of things, a lot of ways that you can. And I believe that NDLA also on this platform also would also help us once we reach out with all the hotline that has been um, said. We can use that medium to advocate and make sure that we, our voice is heard. The Gen Z's, our voice is heard. Our mental health is very, very, is true. So it's not like a joke no more, because once our mental health is tampered, over time, it will tilt us to want to use substance abuse. I would end by saying this, that caring for our mental health is not luxury. It is necessary for leading a fulfilling and balanced life. And I believe that I've been able to make justice to the topic that was given. And I believe that from now henceforth, and from me and anybody that is interested, you can reach out to me. We should advocate to the Gen Zs for our voice to be heard, and our mental health is very, very important. Thank you, and over from here.
Very well said. Thank you very much there, Dr. Fumilade Oyebade. He's done excellently well with that presentation. We appreciate all you have said. Indeed, towards your conclusion, you indeed said mental health, or caring for our mental health, is not a luxury, but something necessary to living a better life. I think that's a key takeaway for me. It's not luxury, it's something we all have to do all within our part. So Fumilade Oyebade, he said he's made his presentation, and we'll start the conversation shortly. But then before we do that, let me quickly acknowledge again some of those already on the platform. Would like to acknowledge Uthman bin Affan. Would also like to acknowledge Oluwatomini Oloba. I'm a Yoruba man, but I don't know what's happening to my tongue this afternoon. I'm very certain that Oluwatomini Loba is a medical doctor. Thank you very much for being part of this conversation today. Katie Matt, thank you for being part of our conversation this afternoon. Olami at Olami Digitals, no doubt that Olami Digital, it's a creative and online person. Thank you for being part of our conversation today. We also have Sally who are your media. Thank you, Sally who are your media. I also have in one corner there our own Asma Ahmad. Thank you, Asma, for always being regular on this platform. We also have Ade MD. Ade MD definitely is another medical doctor there on the space. Thank you, Blank Mind. Thank you, Ajibade Tolu. A regular guest on this platform, as well as being an active member, one who has done enormously well for himself, for the society, his community, and indeed humanity. He is Dr. Abdullahi of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria. He's also the executive director of Excel Mental Health Foundation. I'd like to give the first opportunity to Dr. Abdullah. Let's have his contribution to the topic today, that is Gen Z drug abuse and mental health, fact or facade, especially in relation to the presentation of Dr. Fumilade Oyebade. Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Babafemi. Good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much, Dr. Fumi, for this wonderful presentation. Indeed, it was a very apt topic, and he did justice to it. I'll just add a few things to what he presented to us. Like he said, Generation Z is a demographic cohort succeeding the millennials and preceding generation Alpha. Researchers on popular media use the mid to late 1990s as starting birth years and the early 2010s as the ending birth years. Generation Z has experienced higher rates of drug abuse and mental health problems than previous generations. If you look at, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, in 2021, rates of marijuana and hallucinogen use among young adults reached the highest level since 1988. Between 2011 and 2021, marijuana use in young adults rose 13.2%, and hallucinogen use increased 4.7% during the same time. Generation Z is also more likely to experience mental health problems than previous generations. If you look at 2021 study by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, they found that nearly 1 in 3 high school students reported experiencing persistent feeling of sadness or hopelessness in 2020. That was up from 1 in 5 in 2011. The study also found that suicide rates among adolescents have increased by 57% since 2007. A staggering 57% increase in suicide rate among these young adults. There are a number of factors that may contribute to high rate of drug abuse and mental health problems among Generation Z. This can include stress and anxiety, like the presenter said. Generation Z is growing up in a world that is increasingly complex and challenging. They are facing a number of stresses, including just recently COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and political instability. This can lead to feeling of anxiety, depression, and hopelessness. Also, social media, like he mentioned, Generation Z is the first generation to grow up with social media. Social media can be a great way to stay connected with friends and family, but it can also be a source of stress and anxiety. Generation Z is constantly comparing themselves to others on social media, and this can lead to feeling of inadequacy and low self-esteem. If you also look at the access to drugs, that generation has easier access to drugs than previous generations. Drugs are readily available online and through social media. This makes it easier for them to start using drugs and to develop addiction. Also, if you look at the link between drug abuse and mental health, it is a well-established thing that everybody knows. It's a fact. It's a well-established fact that there is a link between drug use and mental health. People who struggle with mental health problems are more likely to abuse drugs, and people who abuse drugs are more likely to develop mental health problems. This is because drugs can alter the brain chemistry and make it more difficult to manage stress and emotions. There are a number of things that can be done to help Generation Z cope with stress and anxiety and to reduce the risk of drug abuse and mental health problems. This can include promoting mental health awareness and education. It is important for this generation to be aware of the signs and symptoms of mental health problems and to know where to get help. Schools can play a role in promoting mental health awareness and education, providing access to
Abdullah there, obviously his network went off. I can still see him online, but obviously his network went off. Okay, pending when his network stabilizes, I think I'd like to go into our DM now to get some questions for Dr. Fumi. Dr. Abdullah, if you can hear me, please, you may need to exit and come back again so that your network can stabilize. But then let me take some questions from our GM for Dr. Fumi. Okay. Okay. Apologies there. I think something went wrong there. All right, Doctor. Okay, I can't locate Dr. Fumi at the moment, but I think Dr. Abdullah is back. Dr. Abdullah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's like I had problem with the network.
Yeah, with your network. Okay, can you land now? Please go ahead and
okay,
land.
Where did you lose me, please?
Yeah, that was the point where you were talking about social media. That is social media is one of the stressors.
Oh, okay. Like I was saying, this generation is the first generation to grow up with social media. Social media can be a great way to stay connected with friends and family, but it can also be a source of stress and anxiety. This generation is constantly comparing themselves to others on social media, and this can lead to feeling of inadequacy and low self-esteem. I also spoke about access to drugs. This generation has easier access to drugs than previous generations. So drugs are readily available online and through social media. This makes it easier for this generation to start using drugs and to develop addiction. Am I still audible, please?
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
Okay, the link between drug abuse and mental health is well established. People who struggle with mental health problems are more likely to abuse drugs, and people who abuse drugs are more likely to develop mental health problems. This is because drugs can alter the brain chemistry and make it more difficult to manage stress and emotions. But there are a number of things that can be done to help this generation, to cope with stress and anxiety and to reduce the risk of drug abuse and mental health problems. This includes health awareness and education. It is important for this generation to be aware of the signs and symptoms of mental health problems and to know where to get help. Schools can play a role in promoting mental health awareness and education. We can also help them by providing adequate access to mental health services. It is important for this generation to have access to affordable and high quality mental health services. Schools, communities, and government can play a role in this regard. Providing access to reducing or preventing access to drugs, which is very important. Parents and caregivers can play a role in preventing this generation from accessing drugs. This includes talking to their children about the dangers of drug abuse and monitoring their children's activities. But despite all this said, I want to emphasize that this generation, it is important for us to know that this generation is a very resilient generation. They are facing a number of challenges, but they are also finding creative ways to cope. So with the right support, this generation can overcome the challenges and they face and thrive, and really thrive very well. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you to the presenter and all the audience who have made time to attend this presentation once again. Thank you very much.
Very well, thank you. Once again, our own Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah is of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria. But then, as it is, you may have to hang on and stand in for Dr. Fumilade Oyebade as usual, because he's presently disappeared from the space. Definitely, I think that must have been as a result of but okay, I'm told he's there now. Let me locate him. I can't see him yet. Okay, I've seen him now. Please, for those, when we approve, when we grant you to come on the speaker's corner, please remain muted. Those of you who, now you see another person trying to interfere. This Rotarian,
Yeah.
I will move you again, and this time I will allow you out on this corner. Please mute yourself. We do say this, that you remain muted until you are asked to unmute. Please, if you interrupt us, we'll remove you from the speaker's corner. Please, this is the simple rule that we are all used to. If I hear any interruption from your end, I'll just simply remove you. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Fumilade, we're sorry for the glitch you had there. Definitely, I also suffered the same thing. It's one of those things beyond our control. Okay, now that said, I'm sure you also listen to contributions from your colleague, Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah has been a very significant and important partner on this campaign. And now it's time I have to remove Ojo Annex. He won't play by the rules. Okay, so please, I asked 2 questions from Lemon. I wouldn't know if you listen, if you got them, Dr. Fumilade. If you don't, should I repeat them again? Can you signify if you got the 2 questions I asked from Lemon?
Okay, so you can repeat the question. Sir.
Okay. Now Lemon is asking, is it true that Gen Z is more prone to mental health issues than previous generations? Then his second question is, do you think Gen Z's focus on mental health is just a trend, or is it something that is here to stay? So those are the 2 questions from Lemon. If you respond to that, I'll go to the next question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that question. So the first question is Gen Z mental health, is it just peculiar to that generation? The truth is that from my presentation, from research and from interaction with people, it shows that because of most Gen Z don't really have interpersonal relationship with people outside their friend zone. A whole lot of them will come online to just kind of just look for friends, look for people that can like their picture, look for people that will just make them feel in a good way, not looking at people within their cohort. So most times they attend to it because they are adventurous. That's why they call them Zoomers. That's what the ZZ stands for. They want to just do a lot of exploit without even looking at the consequences, as compared to other generation. Other generation are still a little bit laid back. Not that they are not prone to mental health. Even the baby boomers, Gen X, even the alpha that is coming, all of them are kind of just tilt. It's just that in recent time, because of the exposure to social media, that most times they can't really just curtail it. They can't just really kind of just find a way to just balance it. So most times it tilts the Gen Z more as compared to other generation. So the second question, that is it a trend or that is here to stay? I would say for a strong fact that yes, it is here to stay. and we will continue to just advocate for it that the Gen Z, everybody needs to be heard, but most times because the society will be like, what is wrong with this person? Maybe this person just wants to just do clout, or the person just wants to just cause a scene. So most times we dismiss Gen Z's words, we just kind of just ignore them, and those are the things that will make them to now seek validation from another place. So they can seek it online, they can seek it from peer pressure, they can seek it from even outside, even the social media. They can have an idea, okay, this is what I want to do, and with that, it might also tilt them to have different mental illness like anxiety, depression. Some of them might even tilt them to have disorder like OCD, like having obsessive compulsive disorder, and can even tilt them to even, because if you have a long stretch depression or long stretch anxiety, most times it tilts them to having suicidal attempts, because you just want to just end it. You just want to just end that thought. You just want to just end that moment. You don't want to be in that moment again. And that would tilt the person to want to use substance abuse. And that would also affect the lifestyle of that person to be productive. Thank you, and over.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Fumilade. There have been three, I think about four key words used now in this conversation, and that is Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, and even the coming Gen Alpha. I think it's also important for me as the host of this conversation to um, give out the age bracket so that those who may not be familiar on the space will understand that the people we actually refer to as Gen Z are those within the age bracket of 10 and 25, and those we refer to as millennials are those between 26 and 41, while those we refer to as those in Gen X are those within the bracket of 42 and 57, while the coming Alpha, the Gen Alpha are actually members of or children of the millennials and the older Gen Z, just to properly situate some of these things so that some new people on the space will be wondering why are they talking in codes here? Gen Z, millennial, Gen X, Alpha, Gen Alpha. So that's as far as that is concerned. I think I'll need to go back again to our DM quickly. Please, those on the space, just permit me. Let me try as much as possible to see if we can exhaust those on our DM, in our DM first. Okay, Dr. Fumilade, you may also have to take this from Inibong. Okay, let me take. Okay, I think Inibong has also two questions here. And one is, can you highlight the fact that support the assumption that drug abuse is now a public health concern? This person is taking you on, Dr. Fumilade, based on your presentation. Can you highlight the facts that support the assumption that drug abuse is now a public health concern? And two, what peculiar experiences in the society would you say are contributing to the rise of drug consumption in the Gen Z by the Gen Z, and what approach should be taken in curbing the resurgence of a drug pandemic in the population? I believe all of these were actually taken care of in your presentation, but then for the purpose of clarity, I think you may need to go through them again. I yield the mic, Dr. Fumilade.
Okay, thank you, sir. I really appreciate those questions. So, the first one that you said, is it an assumption or is it a fact? I will try to reiterate it again that it is a fact and is here to stay. And the reason why I kind of just say that it's not like an assumption is because of statistics and to look at the trend on how people, the suicidal attempt. So let's start with the suicidal attempt and just kind of just look at it in a broad spectrum. Like if you look at it from now till like there was there was a statistics that I read probably I think some days back on suicidal attempt of Gen Zs from 2022 till like I think June. So it showed that almost like 2% of the current population is currently have either engaged in suicidal attempt or probably succeeded with the suicidal. So, looking at it, the mental health is quite crucial. And looking at it, mental health, the reason why I'm coming from this perspective that once the mental health is not well dealt with, it tilts this person to want to fill the void. And filling the void means that the person will start seeking for other things for validation, either use of social media or probably use of drug to just have that euphoric feeling. So looking at it statistically also, in the healthcare sector, you substance abuse, either from societal pressure or for peer pressure or from even family pressure. You know, there are different pressure that we are facing, and you just want to just take substance. Like in university days, you see people that will tell you, like from a lot of peer pressures, that you tell them that people will tell you that taking marijuana or taking cannabis will make you to be an excellent student, which is not the true fact. But due to that influence, you might want to just go through that route, and before you know, it becomes an addiction. And because it's an addiction, you will do everything to get that drug so that you get that feeling. So it is not an assumption and is here to stay. And looking at the consequences of substance abuse over time, we will see the rise, the increase in the surge of kidney disease. We will see this increase in surge of suicidal attempts. Coming to the clinic, coming to the hospital, we see increase in depression. People that are depressed, you see people that are already even people will call it in Nigeria. So this person is already mad. Now this person is no longer having a mental state that is stable. Most people, most time we see them in different places, like in the Arrow is one of the common places. That the psychiatry in Yaba, you see day in, day out, people coming there for treatment. People coming there for treatment due to substance abuse. And if you should trace it back, it might have been because we've already missed it out to notice some of the symptoms and some of the signs of this person that was exhibiting at the point of when they were having a mental crisis. Also, the approach that I feel that would also help is like a strong collaboration with secondary schools, with churches, with government bodies, with complaints, which we have to make sure that everybody is in sync with this mental health advocacy, not just for the Gen Zs, but for everyone, so that everybody will know that mental health, according to what I said, mental health is not a luxury, is what you should look out for. And without money or not with money, you can get it. But we just have to just have a listening ear to be able to look at people's issues. And if you're the one that's going through it, you need to seek help. So reaching out to counselors, reaching out to trained professionals, reaching out to people that you know that, okay, this person is going to help you, or friends that you feel that would help you out, or man of God, or probably your alpha or your pastor, or anybody that you really put a trust in. You should reach out to these people to help you out. And if that doesn't work, you will need to go to a psychiatrist that will also place you on medication, to have therapy sections for you to go away from that mental illness, and that would 100% or probably 50% or 60% solve the substance abuse. So I believe that other coping mechanism might be exercise, changing of routine, changing of your habits, changing of your hobbies, changing of your circle itself. People that are influencing you, either you stay off social media. Once you know that this is influencing you in a negative way, you stay out of it. If it's peer pressure, you stay out of it. The parents also should be on the lookout of any symptoms. Once you know your child is moody and it's not like that, you know that your child is not eating, you know that your child is eating too much, we should start that discussion. So let's talk about it. Let's push the word out there, and let us encourage people to just voice out. Let them be themselves. Let them talk about it. Let us stop dismissing people's feelings or people's way that they kind of just sense their mental health. It is valid, and we should pursue through. Thank you. And over.
Thank you very much there again, Dr. Fumilade. That's An excellent response. Okay, let's quickly let me take, I think, about let me take two more from our DM, then we'll come back to those who have been approved to speak on this space. Um, this is Inioluwa. Inioluwa, how can parents encourage their words to stay away from enablers of drug abuse? What are the substitutes for some of the enticing modern things that lead to desires for their illicit substances and behaviors? Let me read that again, Dr. Fumi, if Inioluwa is asking, how can parents encourage their words to stay away from enablers of drug abuse? What are the substitutes for some of the enticing modern things that lead to desires for illicit substances and behaviors? And probably this last one from Val, just a single question. What do you think can be done to enlighten children on drug abuse early? Okay, I think those three in one questions, Dr. Fumi, you can take them, then we'll come back to the space for those that are already granted, those that were already approved. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would say that that's a great question also there, because talking about our children, I think that those are we always sing that song that they are the future of tomorrow, which is true. And the truth is that if it's not well addressed when they are young, they would cause a nuisance in the future. That's the truth. So looking at it, you spoke about the question is around what are the other things that can be done for children. I think one of the things that can be done as a parent, one is that you yourself address your own lifestyle. Address your own lifestyle. Example, if you are this person that is always smoking, you're always drinking, you're always doing everything in the front of your world, just know that he's mirroring everything you are doing, and he's already in his head, he's already planning on how he wants to explore that option. So you as a parent, first, you need to deal with yourself first. You need to make sure that you cancel yourself first, because if you don't cancel yourself first, there's no way you can cancel your word or your child. The second one is that I would advise, and I've seen that it has worked for people that have advised. One, you need to expose them to all this. I don't know how to put it, but all this club, like there's a mini club that has different type of people. So there's a club for people that I just kind of just want to learn about coding, or people that just want to just learn about a trade, or people that want to learn out. So you put them in a peer group that would kind of just help them. Also, it is noticed that a whole lot of our millennial words and or our parents, most times you just want to just you just want your child to be happy. So in the verge of making your child to be happy, we forget that you need to put limits to a whole lot of things. We go, especially in Lagos, you go out, you come back by 10 o'clock, you leave your child with your maid, and you give your child a phone to operate. Your child would explore everything on the phone, and you won't know. And in his head, he's always processing on how he wants to execute that task. He's always looking forward to how he wants to execute that task. All I would advise is, one, reduce screen time. It's very, very important for your child, even for yourself. Reduce screen time. It is said that it reduces your performance in any way. Quote me or anything. It reduces your performance anyway. You won't be able to multitask. You won't be able to do anything, because if you're trying to multitask about something, you will still be entangled to that feeling that you want to check something that is trending or something that is going on. And your child, once they are exposed to that in their early lives, you notice that it will be difficult for you to break that trend. Also, the second question is like almost the same thing with the first one. I would always say that I've tried to I've started already pushing out advocacy, especially from age group 6, 7, 8. It will surprise you what a 7-year-old knows. It will surprise you what a 7-year-old knows, and you feel that he doesn't know anything. So that's where we usually miss it from. A 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, talk about it. You don't need, you might use the word that they will understand. If you can't go through that section alone, you can look for a trained counselor, or you can look for somebody that you know that is well equipped to tell them about substance abuse. Substance abuse is not just illicit drugs. You can get substance abuse from even use of your cough syrup and from codeine, from use of different sedatives and everything. So it is best for us to start from the children. Probably that's one of the things I'm looking out for. Going to secondary schools, talking to them, listen to them. That's where we fail it most times. We dismiss their feelings. We dismiss how they feel. We only just want to just talk. And most times, once they try to just express themselves, we shun them off. And trust me, the person will not reach out to you again for help or anything. It is later on you will now hear that okay, this person is now smoking, and when you come back home, you won't know. So it is good for us to address it from the family. And if you can't do that all by yourself, it's advised that you should go to a trusted specialist or a trusted religious leader that can help you navigate through this process. And also, you can also reach out to NDLA that would also provide guidance in anything that you want to do in the approach also. Thank you, and over from here.
All right, thank you very much again for those detailed explanations, Dr. Funmilade Oyebade. Dr. Funmilade Oyebade is our guest on the space today, and indeed he has given a good and excellent account of himself and his professional competence, especially in this area that is public and mental health. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Funmi Oyebade. Now, I think I should be done with our, okay, let me just, but I don't think this is a question. Let me just read this from our DM. I think this is from Oboshi Ekele Gabriel. Good afternoon, Mr. Femi and crew. NDLA will deploy personnel to all 774 local governments in 2024. Executive Chairman attributing that this is great news. We are all excited about. We want to know if there should be another recruitment this year. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. I know where you are coming from now, Obochi. Thank you very much, Obochi. I don't think that will come this year, but it's not impossible early in the new year. That's so. Keep your ears to the ground. If there be something like that, you will definitely know. We are very open about that. Okay, now let's come to the space now. Those that are already approved, I saw. Okay, let me quickly again acknowledge some of those already on the space. That's Peculiar Chichi. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. I've also seen Tinuke TK. Tinuke TK is also a regular. It's a medical personnel practicing in Maryland, US. Thank you, Tinuke TK. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, our own Dr. Jonah Kolo. Thank you also, TJ. I can see TJ also wants to speak, but his network is also dragging him up and down. That's very good. Okay, let's quickly come to, okay, let's give the opportunity. Let's have a woman first this time around. Perpetua is usually the one to take that slot, but she's busy at the listener's corner. So let me take Peculiar Chichi. Peculiar Chichi, if you can hear me, please unmute yourself and let's hear from you. Your questions, your contribution, or interrogation.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We can all hear you loud and clear. It's just that we cannot all speak at the same time. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very, very much. First of all, I want to thank the doctor that just spoke. He really made valid points, and I acknowledge that what he said is the right thing to do. Personally, I work with a human rights organization here in Lagos, and I'm also in the counseling session of the organization with a first-hand experience on cases like those, ranging from child abuse, drug abuse, and the whole of them. I've come to understand that the foundation problem we have on drug abuse, aside from peer pressure, aside from parents, is the environment that teenagers especially find themselves. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition in the environment in this part of the world where young people want to do better, want to do something that is much more than all what others are doing. So in the quest for this, they tend to sort for solutions in different angles, and environment has really affected young people. I had an opportunity to counsel a young girl of 16 years. She's in secondary school, and she's already started taking this I think they call it colos or something. So when I asked her, why are you taking this thing? She said that first of all, that whenever she wants to get high and get good grades or read or something, that she takes, and it makes her so high, and she's able to do one or two things, and she passes her exam. And I asked her, okay, where is this coming from? She said, well, that is what she thinks, or she has seen people doing. So I called the parents and asked the parent, are you aware that your child is into this thing? They said they do not know. That all they know is that that the parents will tell them, look at your mate, look at your mate is doing this, your mate is doing that. The expectation of you is to also come back with the same thing. So they try and look for ways on how to meet the expectations, and they do all sort of things to get the expectations of their parents. So I think that the environment has influenced parents, and this makes the parents to put the pressure on their children, and has made this children to engage themselves in all of these vices. So drug abuse is a very, very terrible situation. I've even experienced a situation whereby a young lady takes drugs, she walks naked, on the streets, and she has a boyfriend. She actually has a boyfriend that also takes the drugs. So the both of them takes drugs together, and they also have friends too that takes these drugs together. So environment has caused a very huge damage. So if we can have a community of counselors that, just as doctor has said, that will be able to we can be able to go to places where we can have access to these individuals, talk with them, and make them understand the consequences for their actions, because there are no counselors anywhere. It is very, very rare to find people in this field. It's very, very rare to find people who are out to do this, because the knowledge is very, very is hard to get. Like, people do not have the knowledge about drug abuse and mental health. So I just want to just put this little tip out here that we need to have people around in various communities that is going to help to at least to cushion this drug abuse. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Peculiar Chichi. That's a great experience she shared with us there. I think we all agree that indeed a lot of parents push their young people, their kids, their words into some of these things ever as a result of lack of intentional parenting, or the things parents say to these kids, you put them under some pressures that they cannot just cope with, and so they turn to something else to be able to cope. I mean, they develop some other interests as their own coping mechanism skills. I think I'd love to hear the opinion of Dr. Abdullahi on this, especially what Peculiar Chichi had just said. Dr. Abdullahi, are you still there?
I'm with you, please.
1 sec.
Okay, please go ahead.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Hello, what would you want me to speak on, please?
Yeah, what peculiar Chichi had just said now about parent, I mean, the experience of this 16-year-old girl who turned to, drug because her parents were always asking her, comparing her to others. And I mean, in terms of her academic performance, and for her, she needed she needed something, a motivation elsewhere, and
Yes,
she turned to drugs. And I think
yes,
today probably she's on colos. Colos is not even the starting point. That's one of the
yes,
most dangerous strain of cannabis, and
yes,
it's a synthetic one anyway.
yes,
Go
of
ahead.
course. Now, in fact, one of the biggest problems with these synthetic ones, even when you do the urine test, sometimes you don't even get to see them, and it's a big problem. Yes, let me speak to the issue. Just like we said, one of the problems this generation have is the social media, where they compare themselves to other people and want to do the way other people are doing. They watch musicians, they watch celebrities who glamorize it. Now, there are a group of these children who are so unfortunate that they do not get this from social media, but rather from their parents. Okay? They are subjected to a kind of pressure that they are unable to bear, and so they have to resort to use of all these things. You know, a parent who is always pushing the child, comparing the child to other children. If this one can do this, why can't you do the academic pressure? In fact, these days we have children who basically do not have time to play. All right? Because the parents are bent. Every parent wants their child to take the first position in their class. It's not possible. You know, their parents are bent in making professors out of these children while they are still in primary school. We are not saying you should not encourage your child to work hard, but a situation where a child goes to school, come back from school, goes to lesson, they practically do not have time, and by the time they go to bed, they are already exhausted because these parents, it's a competition among parents, and the children are usually the ones who bear the brunt of this unnecessary competition. You know, so when you put so much pressure on your child, the child may devise unhealthy ways to cope with this problem, with this pressure, and we are beginning to see it. Some of them may seek succor in drugs. You know, some may seek succor in keeping bad companies, which eventually, invariably, leads to the same drugs or other forms of social vices. So parents have a lot to do. In fact, the family, once we have functional family units, we will begin to see a drop in the number of children who are actually going into this drug use. We are not saying every child that uses drug, the fault is from the parent, but we are saying that there is a lot parents can do, you know, to help us, you know, raise children who will not think that drugs is the only place they can find succor. All right, everything you are working for as a parent, I believe is to take care of the family. But the situation where you will neglect the most important, the most significant component of that family, that is raising children who knows what to do and what not to do, then there is a problem. So this unnecessary pressure, really, parents need to look inward and begin to understand that it is not necessary. You know, every child is unique. Identify the strengths of your child, you know, and work towards that. You know, there are children who may not be entirely very good at the academics. There are a lot of things they can do. So you don't have to say your child must be exactly or even more than your neighbor's child or something like that. If you put such pressures on them, you know, you can tell them or you can push them to adopting certain unhealthy or maladaptive coping mechanisms, which include the use of substances. So let's look inward as parents and see what we can do to help our children without putting unnecessary pressure on them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much there, Dr. Abdullahi. Dr. Abdullahi is of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria. Okay, let's. I wouldn't want to waste Dr. Fumilade's time with that, since Dr. Abdullah had responded to that. Let's take the next contribution from Oko Toshuku Solomon. Toshuku, please, let's have your question, your contribution for our guest on today's topic of discussion. Is Toshuku ready for us, or we should move to the next person? I have my Perpetua ready if you are not ready. Okay, please, Perpetua, I can see you have migrated to your proper place. Please go ahead. Let's get your contribution.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Babafemi. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for all you do. And thank you, Dr. Fumilade, for that excellent presentation. Please, I have just one question from the speech that you just made. What are the predominant risk factors that contribute to drug abuse among Gen Z individuals? Because we know that Gen Z individuals are people that they gave birth to from 1990 to this 2023. So they are just the hottest people in nation, and we are all managing to just get them involved in the things that we do, which at least we are making progress, but we can't indulge everybody in the process. And I just want to know, how do this factor intertwine with mental health concerns? I really want to get the risk factors that can contribute to this drug abuse among the Gen Zs. Thank you so much. And thank you, sir, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much. That's Perpetua Namdi Mane. She's a regular on the space. Okay, over to you now, Dr. Fumilade. Dr. Fumi, can you hear me? Okay, if Dr. Fumi is not responding, okay, I think he's responding now. Okay, please go ahead. Did you hear Perpetua?
Okay, the network was just somehow, so I did not get last.
Okay, let's invite Perpetua to come again with our question. Perpetua, please, can you repeat so that Dr.
Okay, sir. Okay, please. My question was, what are the predominant risk factors that contribute to drug abuse among Gen Z individuals, and how can this factor intertwine with mental health concerns? That was my question.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you, sir.
Fumi, I think you got that.
Yes, sir. Okay. I believe that we've addressed it, but I will just probably just paint a scenario so at least we'll be able to have more information on what and what to do. So, looking at it, most times the substance abuse that we have been recreating comes from a trigger that you want to cope with. So the coping mechanism for a whole lot of stressors that comes through the Gen Z is that you just want to just fill the void with substance abuse, or probably if you can't even take it, a whole lot of people just think about suicide, have suicidal thoughts also. So looking at it also, I would just want to just explain a little bit on the influence of mental health to substance abuse. The first one, I kind of just mentioned that sometimes there are situations whereas this person is actually thinking that I'm fine, I'm okay. You understand? Most times they're just say that okay, I'm fine, I'm okay. But if you have good listening ears, you would know that this person is not okay. Most times personality also pull a whole lot of things to tilt people to their mental health to be to have illness. A lot of people that like to be are the outspoken one, it's quite difficult to know if they are really going through their maybe depression, anxiety, probably having a, but you would surely know for a very quiet person because it's more obvious because you just know that this person, something is wrong. However, I want to also paint another scenario which is more peculiar to the adolescent. So, example, if you kind of just see it in a kind of way that okay, this your very child. Every time I usually beat him for not coming out first, or you're always talking down at him, or probably comparing him with his mate or with your neighbor or with your church member, that can you see that person already entered university and everything. At that particular point in time, just know that you are tilting that child to have a mental instability. And that mental instability will now exhibit symptoms such as withdrawal from people. You will just notice that this person might not stop eating or eating a lot. You notice that this person is always having anxiety, having panic attacks. Sometimes you will just say any small thing, the person will start having hyperventilation and the rest like that. This push this person to want to fill the void, and the void that you kind of just see most times is you will just see it as what's the name? You will just see it as risky behaviors. Like that's why some of the risky behaviors, because I'm also an HIV expert also, you would also notice that risky behaviors is more common to this age group, and they have a lot of things in their head because they want to do this LGBTQ and stuff like that because of the adventure, and it's because they want to fill a void. It makes them to begin to share sharps, and the consequence of all that is that it can make the person to be exposed and be infected with HIV disease. Also, not even have lack of parental supervision. A whole lot of things can make this child to just have all these kind of symptoms, which will now make the person to use substance abuse as an escape from the reality, because the reality is not favorable for the person. The person will want to live in our oblivion, and what can make the person to go to that oblivion is the drug abuse. I believe that I've answered your questions, and if I've not made justice to that, please try call me back. Thank you, and over.
All right, thank you very much. I definitely believe you had answered that before, and again, you have equally explained what you have said before. So I believe strongly that Perpetua would have gotten your points clear this time around. I guess she was initially distracted. I can hear the cries of her baby right in the background. So probably that's why she didn't listen to you earlier. But then, thank you once again, Dr. Funmilade Oyebade, who is our guest speaker today on this conversation. We'd like to remind all of us that indeed this conversation is recorded and will be on our handles after the conversation in another 15 minutes. Then we can all go back to it, listen, learn one or two things, and even share with friends, family members, and associates so that they can also benefit from the knowledge and information shared in all that we've been doing on this space today. Okay, I guess Madam Pekulia still wants to share some experience with us. She's raising her hands. Okay, let's have you, Madam Pekulia Chichi. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to quickly say something that I think that one way to help these young people is if parents can start having difficult conversations with their children from the young age, because I think that why they grow and become teenagers, they use this substance or this drug to try to escape from their reality. For example, maybe they're having difficulties in career or difficulties in relationships. Do you understand? So they feel that the best way to escape from the reality of, oh, I failed, or the reality of I have poor result, or I am not doing very well in my career, or I'm having issues with my relationship, or I have problems with I'm having sex, all this and all of that. I think parents need to start having difficult conversations. Teachers also need to start having these difficult conversations with students from the classroom. They need to start discussing from the foundation, start telling them, making them understand consequences for actions, making them understand the steps for you to have a successful career, for them to be successful in career or in relationship, relationship or in any endeavors in life, they need to start having those difficult conversations and create a word for them, that because I believe that the older generation, the reason why the older generation were able to escape these problems is because we went through a process. We went through a process of drilling. We went through a process of molding from our parents, if I'm right. So it shapes our mindset from the family foundation. It shapes our mindset. It shapes our character and our development process. That when we became adults, we were able to distinguish between the wrong things from the right things. Because I believe that most of our parents could not tolerate some things with us, and they also made us understand that this thing you do, or this thing you're going to do, is going to have this consequence on you. And I come to realize that parents of the generation don't even have the time to have these discussions with them, and teachers also, they cannot even have these conversations with their students. Because I come to realize that when I have sessions with some teachers and I ask them, okay, how do you discuss with your students? How do you have a conversation with them? What they say is, well, that they are not paid to do that. What they are paid to do is to come to class, teach them, and they go. Do you understand? Most of the teachers don't even know the side, don't even understand what their children are going through in their classes, so that they can call the attention of the parents. So, okay, please, I realize that your child is going through, we find out your child is going through this kind of thing, or he or she is lacking concentration in class, or he or she is having this kind of experiences. Please, can you see to this? So, and the parents will like, oh, come here, you. What is wrong with you? Why are you not concentrating? Why are you not doing this? Look at you. This kind of a thing. So I think that if we are able to have seminars for parents, most especially, if we can be able to conduct seminars for parents, for them to start having these conversations with their children, I think that from that way we can be able to curb most of these things, and that for children to be able to be free to talk to elderly ones. And again, people are very judgmental. One thing I realize is it is very difficult for a young teenager to speak out. They find it difficult to speak up because they have the fear in them that if I should speak up now, what will this person say? They will judge me. You know, they're going to say up or say some negative things. They're afraid. They've made mistakes, because this drug abuse can lead them to a lot of other things, and it becomes a mistakes in the part of their lives. So they become afraid to speak up to somebody. Because I know that being in the church setting, most pastors are very, very judgmental. They'll come with all sorts of judgmental scriptures. Some people are not enlightened enough to talk to these young teenagers, because I personally am a youth president in my church, and I know what most of these children come to tell me in church. So for them to be able to have someone they can talk to, they can speak up, that will not make them feel that, oh, what you did is wrong, or what you're doing is you're a bad person. You know, you've been condemned totally. So they need to understand that, okay, this is the lessons they have learned. Now, how are they going to move on? How do you move on from this particular situation? How do you move on? So give them process. And again, another thing is seeking help from professionals, especially from medical practitioners, is very, very expensive. Like, it's very easy to say these things: seek help, go for help, or get mental help. Now, it is easy to find anyone around you that will tell you, stop taking drugs, stop doing it, or stop doing that. But we need professionals. We need professional counselors, therapists, and to get these therapists are very, very expensive. Now, how many therapists are available to give out this help? How can they get these people? How are they able to source for this help? Now, if you find somebody, a young child or a teenager who is going through an addiction problem, and the person wants to change, right? But there are other influences. Now, the person needs a therapy to walk that person or that child through the process for the child to be able to come out of it. Now, it is very, very expensive. For sometimes they'll feel, oh, therapists might say, okay, you're going to pay me for my services, or they might not even be able to get the professional help that they deserve. So most times it will now take an extra spiritual work to do these things, to get it right. And that is how our society is getting condemned by the minute. So I think we need to look out for the side of it right now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Peculiar Chichi. You have almost you actually took the podium as another guest speaker today. We appreciate your contribution and the experience you shared with us. That's awesome. Thank you very much once again, Peculiar Chichi. We appreciate your contribution, and it shows you are indeed, you experienced in what you are doing, and you are a major factor in contributing to the well-being of our young people. Thank you once again, Peculiar Chichi there. Okay, let me quickly take this before we take the final shots from Dr. Abdullah first there before our guest speaker, Dr. Fumilade Oyebade. Let's quickly take this. We have okay, let me, Dr. Oyebade, please, we'll most likely be taking some 3 questions together. Okay, this one is from Razak Ganiyu. Is asking if intentional parenting is a key factor to solving this drug equation in Gen Z. What happens to children whose parents are separated? What's the hope for them? That's a very strong one. Okay, let's take this first, Dr. Fumi. Then I'll go to the other 2. Let's quickly take this. Over to you, Dr. Fumi. Are you there?
Okay, sir. I'm here.
Okay, please go.
Okay.
Did you hear the question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic question because I want to even fleshing it up by adding some other stuff to it. That okay, what about the orphanage homes? What about the people in the streets that don't have houses? Who will take care of them? The reality is this: information is very, very key. Knowledge is very, very fundamental. Most times you might not have all of these, and you might not have all of this information. But what we can do is this: having a planned outreach, just having a planned outreach, is targeted site because we can't do it alone. That's the truth. You can't do it alone. Parents can't do it alone. That has to be a decision from the government, from individual bodies, from NGOs, reaching out to people through outreaches. And the outreach will be targeted to just even talk to these people, feel their pulse, know how they are feeling. It's not like you just go there and just do a whole lot of talking. Do more of the listening. Those are the ways that you can reach out to these people. Once you can reach out to them, you will be able to understand where they're coming from, where their thought process is at that particular point in time. Because some of them is because of they're just there, they just want to be 18 and leave the orphanage home. And the next thing that comes to their mind is that they want to explore everything that they could not do while they were in the orphanage home. So having a targeted outreach and also reaching out to other bodies that can help out, this would have a collaborative effect on the mental health of our Gen Z. One person can do it alone, but this platform and today's topic has really, really, really probably equipped one person, or it has identified someone, or it has really, really put this seed in one person, and will be able to pursue this to ensure that the Gen Zs are being heard and we don't dismiss how they feel. All these being said, this would also help reduce the substance abuse of our Gen Z. So thank you, and over from here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fumilade there. Let me quickly take the next questions. I believe Dr. Abdullah would also have to contribute to this. This is from the official journey. Is saying, I'm worried at the rate of cash apps that the youths or Gen Z are targeted to advertise the apps, where many download the apps where they collect loans, which some will use for drugs and end up in debt. That's a key point there. Please note that both Dr. Fumi and Dr. Abdullah. Okay, Peculiar Chichi, I'm sure she raised this earlier. Most Gen Z cannot handle pressure. They easily look for easy ways to escape, hence substance abuse. Okay, well noted. You have made that point already. Okay, Blank Mind also is saying our definitely Blank Mind is falls within this generation because he's saying our generation is sinking more into drug abuse. Social media validates it. Our celebrities also glamorize it. The fact that marijuana is considered to be a non-harmful substance is further destroying our generation. Please proceed to use the harder um, drugs after a week. Okay, after a week or so, I guess what he's trying to say there. Okay, but then these are definitely valid points or fears raised here. Can we have Dr. Abdullah respond to this and also give his parting shots while we come back to Dr. Fumilade for his own parting shots? Please, Dr. Abdullah, can you unmute yourself and respond to those?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. Let me start by saying that I disagree with the assertion that the Generation Z are weak people, they are unable to cope with pressure, and that's why they do this. I did say that if you look at it, just compare the older generations to this Generation Z. You know, those that are of our age and those older than us will testify that during their time, in fact, they had people to talk to them. The parents are there, the parents were not there, the uncles, the aunties, the grandparents. You know, it took a whole community to raise children. Unlike today, all right, parents are virtually absent from the life of their children. And by the time they come back from their busy, very, very busy schedules of the day, most of them spend their time, the little time they would have spent with these children, also going through their social media. So unfortunately, these children are left with practically no option, you know, than to seek either advice or support from their peers who are also facing the same problems. All right. So mostly you see people with thousands of friends virtually, but in real life, they are actually lonely. They have very few people they can actually have face-to-face conversation with. This is not easy. And like we say, this generation is the only generation that actually grew up, the first generation to grow up with social media, which made it very easy. In fact, before social media, if an individual wants to use drug, you will have to go to where it is sold. You will have to go and look for it physically. But today, on the social media or online, they are able to procure these drugs. Some of them get it delivered to them. We've had patients in the ward, you know, who are able to procure these substances. While in the ward, they will bring it to them. So it makes it very difficult for them. So it's not like they are actually very resilient. And with the right support, I think they will do well. Okay. And the other thing the other person mentioned about these loan apps, in fact, it has actually become a menace to the society. That is very true. You see these children, after exhausting what they have, you know, they turn to the loan apps, you know, get these monies. These monies are not used for anything productive. They use it to procure these drugs, and then it becomes a problem. You know, they are chased, they are arrested, you know, to get the loans back. And at the end of the day, it is still the parents that will pay for it. Actually, it has become a problem, and I hope there will be more regulation as to how they go about their businesses. You know, almost every day you see them send you advertisement upon advertisement, making it look like, you know, you take this loan, you don't have to suffer to pay or whatever. It's actually a problem, you know. So regarding the glamorization of drug use, that's what we have always said. We have a situation where people who are supposed to be responsible role models, celebrities, movie stars, musicians, glamorizing the substance use. And so these young stars see it. For me to be as popular, as big as this person, I will have to do what this person is doing. And if the person is glamorizing the use of substance, the person is likely going to think that it is the way to go. So these are problems that we cannot solve at individual level. But I hope through this advocacy, we'll be able to get those who have the power to stop these things from happening, to do something about it. It's actually a big problem. So I will end by saying it is true that it is very expensive, to get the help of professionals. And that is why we say prevention is cheaper, is better and cheaper, than cure. The best thing is to avoid these drugs. It is really very expensive. It may not be you paying the cash you are going to pay, but what it takes from you is not something to joke with. It is expensive, either in cash or in kind. So it is better not to go into it. So I will advise our youngsters to seek alternate means of solving their problems rather than going to drugs, because at the end of the day, the drug will actually not solve the problem. It will only compound it. It will make it worse. So it is not the best way to go. And I will encourage parents to be more dutiful, to be more alive to their responsibilities, and be there for these children, really. When that thing is missing, when that parental touch is missing, a lot can go wrong, including what we are discussing today, the use of psychoactive substances. And that will increase their risk of developing mental illnesses. And they become not just a menace to the family, but to the whole society. So please, let's do more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there, our own Dr. Abdullahi. Dr. Abdullahi is of the Abadi Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria. Thank you for always coming on hand to support and to share knowledge and facts about this problem with our members on the platform. Now we'll take our guest as the last for today, and that's Dr. Fumilade Oyebade. Let's have your parting shot, please. Dr. Fumi, if you can hear, okay, please go ahead with your parting message, please.
Thank you, sir, for that. I would want to say that Doctor really spoke my mind out, that I think he gave more insight. I will only just add a few comments to that. I would like to just say that prevention is better. That's the only cheapest thing that you can get. However, everybody should play their part. If you're an uncle, if you're an auntie, if you're a brother, if you're a sister, if you are a church leader, if you are a healthcare professional, just always do your part. At every point in time that you do that, you can what from you can change. I would also say that if our technology, looking at other countries, I think their own internet algorithm is quite different. What you see in their own internet algorithm, most educative stuff. But right here in Africa, or perhaps in Nigeria, per se, once you click on one thing, even though if you don't want to just look at it, you will get that notification. And if you're not careful, you will just want to open it, and from there you will get affected. The same thing with the cash app that is probably coming up, and I think that there's an increased surge in probably, I would say, gambling. So a whole lot of people have lots of role models probably online that have seen different factors, that have different things that have made them what's the name? That made them famous. So they will want to push through that trend also to just make money. So I think that from our own angle, from parents, I think that there's this app that you can install on your watch phone, whereas you can use that to monitor what they are doing and probably reduce their exposure to some things that you would want them to get exposed. So lastly, I would just say that it is expensive, and even if it's not really that even expensive, it is the healthcare professionals that are already available in Nigeria are not enough for the current population. All what we need to do is continue the advocacy, probably reach out to government bodies, reach out to people, to NGOs that are interested in mental health, that will help put it in the front burner of the, the admartial strategy that we can use to reduce substance abuse in Nigeria. Thank you, Aluba, for me, and thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to be part of this discussion as of today. Thank you, Aluba.
All right, thank you very much, there, Dr. Fumilade Oyebade. Fumilade Oyebade is a medical doctor and public and mental health expert. He's on a mission to raise awareness about mental health issues, reduce stigma, and promote mental wellness. He's been our guest on today's edition of NGLA's Open Forum on X Space, and he's really discharged himself very well, and we cannot be grateful enough to our own regular Dr. Abdullahi of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital. He's always been very steadfast, ready to offer insight. Thank you. We appreciate both of you, gentlemen, for being part of this conversation and for sharing from the depth of your knowledge about these issues. And we also like to appreciate Peculiar Chichi also for stepping in today to share some experiences, some insights. That's awesome. We believe we all have learned quite a lot from the conversation today. Next week, by the grace of God, we will be bringing another topic and will be sharing with us. I would not go until I once again appreciate all of those that have been part of this conversation today. This this is not the list of everybody on this space. Sorry that we cannot mention anybody, but indeed those that I put down their names that I recognized earlier. This includes City Boy at City Omogbola. Thank you. Sir Fash at Dr. Fash, MD. Thank you, Dr. Abdullahi, as I said earlier. Thank you, our own regular John Ogunjimi. Don Baba Mosadi, thank you. AGN, that's Abdul Ghani at AGN for real. Thank you, Noso Oyen Jemezi. Thank you, Atobale Shola. Thank you, Akanfe Oloju Komandu. Ibukun Siwoku at Queen Mayowa, thank you. Kunle Joseph, our own Parabawa. Tijani Musa Alhaji, Adamu El Musa, Kem at Kem Patriots, Uthman bin Afan, Oluwatomini Loba, that's a medical doctor. Thank you, Ketimat, Olami at Olami Digital, Saliu Ayomide Ade, that's another medical doctor there. Black Mind, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Ajibade Tolulope, Dreja Benga Bamimore, Perpetua Anamdi Male, thank you, our regular. Suleiman, Dr. Dipo Awojide, Paul Shizom, Peculiar Chichi, our own Lady TK. TK joined us from Maryland, US. Thank you, TK, for finding time. I know you should be at work by now. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Dr. Jonah Kolo. Thank you, TJ. We have quite a lot of other people and even some of our friends across the world. They are still joining. Before I close the space, let me quickly appreciate some of my colleagues who have been working behind the scene to support the process. Thank you, Musa, Francis, Mahmoud, Dele, Val, Phil, Blessing, Vina, Queen, John, Ali, and Ima. Thank you, guys. I cannot mention everybody's name. We appreciate you for being part of this conversation. Please don't forget this conversation is recorded and it's available on our handles. We can always go back to it to listen again and share with family members, friends, and colleagues. Let's try to share information about this problem so that we can help as many as possible and save lives, save humanity. Thank you. I remain yours sincerely, your regular host. My name is Femi Babafemi. Please be safe out there. This is Friday evening, all through the weekend. Let's not do what will put us in trouble. Let's not indulge in those things that we know will not benefit our health, our mental health, and our well-being. Until we come again next week, bye from here, and I'll hand over to my colleague Mahmoud to properly close the space. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir, the host, and of course the NDLES Director of Media and Advocacy for guiding us throughout today's program. Before we go, our listeners who are enthusiastic about the agency can visit our website www.ndla.gov.ng and our social media platforms at ndla_Nigeria on YouTube, X, and Instagram. And on Facebook, it is at ndla01. Do join us same time next week for another edition of this wonderful program.
Don't do drugs, so. Don't do drugs, so. Don't try it, though. He go choke you, oh. He go steal your sunshine, oh. He go shock you, oh. He don't kill him any youth for my area. Even for your area. But when you start it to stop, you know go easy. As you dey drag am go, he dey drag you down. Water come out from my eyes, oh. When I remember all the guys, oh. So many of them kicking bucket, oh. Some tattoos forget, oh. Make we don't forget, oh. No just talk it, oh. Say, don't do drugs. I got you see body, oh. Don't do drugs. I got push your busy body. Don't do drugs. If you die, it goes sad, oh. Don't do drugs. Oh, yeah, help me to somebody. Don't do drugs. I got you see body, oh. Don't do drugs. Body, oh.
This message is brought to you by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA.
Today, now my by day. Today, now my